Alrighty, good morning everyone. Hopefully your day is off to a good start. Overall, it is a really dreary looking afternoon out there for those of you who maybe are heading out and about. Definitely going to need to do so now before the weather rolls on in, and by that I mean some rain. So good morning. I am First Alert Meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi. Let's see if I can trying to think about how I can move the camera down. That's okay, because I'm only going to be on camera for a little bit, so I'll stand on my tiptoes. For those of you who don't know, I'm 5'1" every single day of the week, so definitely need a little boost everywhere I stand. So we clearly have a lot to talk about weather-wise this weekend. We have a first alert for both today and tomorrow. As you can see, if some of you got the push notification to your phone, then it is going to be a busy weekend. We have rain today, going to be very windy. It already is extremely windy out there. We're going to talk about that. And then, of course, the big question that everyone wants to know, are we going to have snow this weekend? So we will cover all of that. It is definitely a roller coaster of a weekend weather-wise. As always, please let me know where you're watching from. If you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments if you're watching on one of our streaming platforms that allows you to do so. So let's talk about it. What's going on out there right now? Pretty overcast skies in Midtown right now, and that's really the case across the metro this morning. Lots of cloud cover out there. Definitely a gloomy start to the day. Occasionally I've been seeing this camera kind of shake around because the wind is definitely starting to pick up out there, and that will continue through the day today. So here's what to expect. Today we will have the potential for some very heavy rain, and then Saturday night, tonight into early Sunday, we could have a wintry mix, and that's kind of more of what I'm favoring when it comes to the models. I'm thinking that we're more so going to have like a rain-snow mix for the metro, but we still could have some flurries. I do think that any kind of snow and any kind of accumulation, that is definitely going to be for the higher elevations of the North Georgia mountains above 2,000 feet. We'll talk about when you could expect that coming up here shortly. I see a couple of comments. Let me say good morning. Good morning from Miss Deborah, tuning in from Tupelo, Mississippi. All right, good morning. From Winder, Jimmy, good morning to you. Happy Saturday. And then, of course, we talked about the wind, so that's going to encompass a lot of the weekend, starting really right now. We have a wind advisory from 1 p.m. this afternoon until 7 a.m. tomorrow. So that's when you can expect the windiest conditions. We're talking wind gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour possible. So as if that's only going to add to the chaos, of course. When you have the rain, you have the wind, even some heavier rain. We can watch for maybe some isolated down trees, which could lead to some power outages across the area. Thankfully, we haven't gotten a lot of heavy rain. We've had a couple of dry days, so the ground has been able to kind of rebound from our rainy pattern that we've been set up in. But we'll still keep an eye out for that. And then, of course, if we do have any kind of snow accumulation, especially in the higher elevations of the mountains, we'll just have to keep an eye out up there for any kind of trouble when it comes to power outages or slick roadways. Right now, this is kind of the big picture. So this is what is giving us all of our weather chaos today. That's kind of the word I've been describing the weekend, is just kind of chaotic. So we have this low pressure center that's out in the Gulf. And notice you can see the arrows spinning around that. Well, wind around a center of low pressure goes counterclockwise. So what that's doing is pulling in all the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico along the Gulf Coast. And then, of course, we have that front, which kind of serves as a little bit of lift in the atmosphere to allow for those showers to continue along the coast this morning. But as that low continues to move inland, it will carry all that Gulf moisture with it, and it will also make us windier. The closer you get to a center of low pressure, the windier it gets. So that's why that wind advisory is in effect, because that low is pretty much going to track right through central Georgia, just to our south. So we're going to be very close to that center of circulation there with that system as it moves inland. So right now, here's a look at the temperatures. It is cloudy, it is cool. This is about as warm as we're going to get today. Temperatures will actually gradually drop through the day as some cold air spills in and as the rain kind of cools our atmosphere down a little bit. So we're at 53 in Lawrenceville, 53 in Athens, 55 in Atlanta, and 54 in Marietta. Right now, here's a look at our current wind speed. So this is that sustained wind. We're at 23 mile per hour winds right now in Atlanta, 14 in Athens and in Gainesville, 5 in Ellijay, 12 in Canton, 9 in Carrollton, and we're gusting as high as 36 right now in Atlanta. It's very close to tropical storm force. Tropical storm force is 39. 24 in Gainesville, 20 in Canton, and 16 down in Milledgeville, which is technically central Georgia, but we'll still include them. Here's a look at the wind advisory for today. Again, this starts at 1 o'clock. It doesn't mean it's not going to be windy before then, because it clearly is. But We will be in wind advisory criteria between 1 and 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. So again, going to be rainy, going to be windy, really just a day where if you don't need to be out on the roads and everything today, as the rain moves in and as the weather just kind of deteriorates through the afternoon, don't do it. Try and go out within the next hour or so. Anytime between before like 1 o'clock is going to be your best bet to get things done. So you have about another hour to go get all your plans done if you need to. So as we go through the afternoon today, let me go back actually, because I know it's raining in some spots right now and I completely moved over that. So we're gonna go backwards a little bit. Let me go here. There we go. That should zoom in, maybe. There we are. Yes. So we're starting to see some showers in parts of, it looks like Fayette County, Coweta County, down towards Meriwether and Troup counties right now. All just light rain. All the heavy rain is still down to our south. So, but expect all that rain to continue to kind of usher in. But it looks like maybe a heavier shower just to the south of Griffin, or a more steady shower, I should say. So again, the rain is starting and it will continue to move in as that low continues to progress forward. So now let me take you back forward through our graphics here, because I didn't want to miss out on anyone who maybe was south of the city watching and I wanted to know where the rain was. It is starting to creep in again down towards Carroll County, down towards Coweta County, Troup County, Meriwether County, starting to get in on some of that action. So as we go through the afternoon, here's 3 o'clock. That low is going to be moving inland at this point, bringing in the chance for some heavier showers. Temperatures generally in the upper 40s and low 50s, and I'm keeping the temperatures on here for a reason. This is going to be key to our forecast when it comes to our winter weather potential. So stick with me here, because today we're not really worried about winter weather. That's going to be more of a tomorrow situation. Here's 5 o'clock. You have any dinner plans? I would probably reconsider. This is one of the nights where you guys need to be extra nice to any of the DoorDash, Uber Eats, whatever the other ones are. There's a million of them, Grubhub. All your delivery drivers, you need to tip them extra nice today, okay? Because you don't want to be driving in it and they are being doing the Lord's work in delivering all of your dinner in rainy and windy conditions. So be nice to them, be kind to them, because if you are going to cancel your dinner plans and order in tonight, they are going to have to be dealing with some pretty dicey conditions out there. So cold rain, it's also going to be very windy out there. Again, that wind advisory will continue through the evening hours tonight into tomorrow morning. So wind gusts upwards of 40 miles per hour will be possible. Again, temperatures staying generally in the 40s for most of the day, even though we're in the 50s right now. That will change through the afternoon. Rain could be heavy at times, so we could have, again, maybe some isolated power outages if we do manage to have a good burst of wind come through, paired with the heavier rain that's going to fall pretty much from 2 o'clock all the way until 11 o'clock at night pretty steadily. So just something we'll be watching for. Maybe some isolated pockets of flash flooding possible, but in those more flood prone areas. So we're talking places that are low lying, those ditches, some of the roadways that don't drain that well, but that's not really a huge concern. So here's tomorrow morning. This is the latest model. So this model is the graph model. One of our higher resolution models goes out only a couple of days, goes out about 3 days. And this model has been the most aggressive with our winter weather potential, and right now it's actually starting to pull back a little bit, not really bringing a lot of a flurry chance to Metro Atlanta. And what we've been kind of thinking all morning long is that we could maybe have some flurries, that rain snow mix as far south as Metro. Definitely not going to see any accumulating snow. You could have maybe had some sort of like dusting on your higher elevated surfaces, like a back deck or something like that, maybe some grassy surfaces. But this model, as of late, is really keeping all of that winter weather potential up in the North Georgia mountains. And these systems are really difficult to forecast in the first place. So essentially what is happening is we have our low pressure system along our front that is at the surface right now that's bringing us all the rain. That's a no-brainer for models to handle. They're really good at handling what we call these synoptic scale features. That's your weather word for the day. But the weather system that's bringing us the chance for winter weather is an upper level system. So it's an upper level cold core low. So it's cold at its surface, or it's cold at its center, excuse me. And a lot of that cold air is in the upper levels of the atmosphere. The air that is freezing temperatures are in the upper levels, which is typical. Of course, the higher up in the atmosphere you go, the colder it gets. So it's typically freezing up there. But that freezing air isn't going to come down to the surface. So that's why we're thinking we're not going to have to worry about any ice. But where I was going with this is that models have a really tough time picking up in these upper level systems. They're a little trickier to forecast. So the fact that we're seeing changes 24 hours ahead of this event, even less than that now. That's not necessarily out of the question, especially when it's winter weather in the south, right? So that's tricky within itself. And then you add an upper level system to it, just makes it a little more difficult. Elaine, good morning from Johns Creek. Good morning from Atlanta, Queen La Rosa. All right. I like that. That's fun. Okay, so let's take you through the rest of the day. Again, now this model really pulling back on our winter weather potential for the metro area. This doesn't surprise me. We were staying above freezing, so a lot of the winter weather as it fell from the sky would probably melt or be kind of that rain snow mix. But earlier this morning, if you were tuning in on Atlanta News First from 6 to 7, and then again during CBS Morning on Saturday, this model was showing the potential for winter weather all the way down towards LaGrange. So clearly this is backed off, but the closer you get to an event, typically the more accurate things are going to be. So very much like we were saying earlier, could we still have some sort of rain snow mix as far south as metro? Sure, but the only place we were expecting any kind of accumulating snow regardless was going to be up in the mountains. Here's one of our other high resolution models. It is quite literally called the HRRR, the High Resolution Rapid Refresh model. Say that 5 times fast. This model is the one that takes kind of the smallest grid point. So it is the highest resolution that we got. Only goes out several hours. It doesn't go out days. Anyway, this model was thinking that any kind of winter weather was going to stay up in the mountains. This is one of the earlier runs of the graph model that I just showed you. So notice it thought that winter weather was possible all the way down to metro. That has changed since the recent model. So this is just kind of showing you how things have progressed and how other models are handling what exactly is going to happen tomorrow morning. It's looking less and less likely we are going to see any kind of winter weather in metro, but it is still possible that we'll have that rain snow mix. So it'll be primarily rain, maybe you could have a few flakes mixed in there. Accumulating snow looks to stay up in the mountains, especially the higher elevations above 2,000 feet. So if you were maybe planning to head to the mountains this weekend, then it's your lucky weekend to see some winter weather. They could experience upwards of 2 inches of snow. Now, any icy roads, definitely not expected, winter weather or not. Again, we're just going to be far too warm, and temperatures will warm well above freezing tomorrow afternoon. So any kind of precipitation that falls on the roads that is even mixed is not going to stick to the roads and cause icy patches. So we're not worried about that. The only spot that might have to be concerned about that is any of those winding roads up through the mountains, any of the bridges and overpasses up there. That might be a concern. Otherwise, not concerned about icy roads in the metro. So as you're headed to church tomorrow morning, maybe you're running some errands tomorrow morning, because the rain and everything will move out by lunchtime. You don't have to worry about any kind of icy roads or anything like that. Definitely not concerned. So hi from Cartersville. Good morning. Good morning. So that is a look at kind of what we're looking at impacts-wise on Sunday. Either way, we're going to pick up a decent amount of rainfall. So we kind of continue our pattern of this rainy active pattern, and we've already picked up a solid amount of rain this year, and so it's always nice to be in a surplus rather than a deficit, especially as you head closer to the spring when you start growing all the plants again and all the crops. And of course that's a huge industry here in Georgia, so it's nice to not have soil that's extremely dry that plants don't do well in or grow well in. Of course you never want to have too much of anything, but we're going to add on to our totals anywhere between ½ an inch to an inch of rain. Maybe some locally heavy amounts will be possible as we head through the day today. So some rainy weather set up, whether you see winter weather or not, at least you're going to pick up some nice rain for your yards, which are probably still dead anyway from the winter. So all that crunchy grass that's out in your yard, I'm sure, from the cold winter months that we've had. All right, so here's a look at Atlanta's most accurate first alert forecast. So we have a first alert today for the heavy rain. Everyone at some point today will see rain. So that's why we have the 100% chance of rain. If you open our app, which by the way is a great tool to have, especially as the forecast is ever changing and evolving as we start to get a better handle on exactly our setup here, you want to have that app so you can see if it is going to snow in your area. It'll let you know if rain's on the way, so you can go ahead and plan your afternoon, go run your errands. Just, I would say if you're leaving past lunchtime out of your house, have the umbrella packed away. Rain and snow possible Sunday morning, especially though in the higher elevations of the mountains. Unfortunately, if you were hoping to see snow in metro, it's looking kind of less and less likely that we're going to experience that. We'll be milder on Monday, so if this doesn't scream Georgia, I don't know what does. We'll be in the 40s Sunday afternoon, and then with the potential for maybe some winter weather in the morning, and then we're going to be in the 60s on Monday afternoon. So welcome to Georgia. Mid-60s on Tuesday, maybe a couple of showers, and then it looks like Wednesday we'll start to pick up that rain chance, especially for the morning hours ahead of our next front. Now, we have a first alert for Thursday right now because of that front, but models are really struggling on the timing of this, which again isn't unusual. 7 days out, it's going to change in one way or another. But we might actually end up shifting that first alert to Friday. It does look like the system is starting to slow down, so it looks like this will be a Thursday, like late afternoon into the evening event, maybe into Friday morning. But one of our models, which actually usually does pretty well when it comes to long range, is starting to think this is more of a Friday morning event, and it kind of clears by the afternoon. That would lower our storm potential and obviously lessen our impact when it comes to your commute. So we'll be keeping an eye on that, but right now circle Thursday on your calendar and just keep an eye on the end of the week. So we have that first alert so you can kind of know what to expect as you're looking ahead to the week. Of course, we don't want to think about the work week yet. It's only Saturday, but definitely kind of keep an eye on the end of the week. So we'll first alert Thursday, and then we'll kind of keep an eye on the exact timing that might end up shifting to Friday, and we don't have to worry about Thursday as much. So that's what we're looking at weather-wise. Again, unfortunately, as models continue to progress, I'm going to stand on my toes here because I didn't move the camera down to my height. Anyway, as models continue to progress, it's looking a little less likely that we're going to have winter weather in the metro, which again, we were kind of thinking that yesterday you had models showing some pretty heavy snow falling north of Atlanta and some snow showers even in the metro area. And as models have handled better the temperature profile of the atmosphere, snow is very difficult to forecast. You have to have it perfectly lined up. It has to be pretty much below freezing in every level of the atmosphere. Doesn't necessarily have to be freezing at the surface, but you know, because if you have a warm layer, that turns into things like sleet. And so anyway, we're not going to get into how winter precipitation forms, but you get the idea. So it's hard for models to figure that out. That's definitely one of the trickier things to forecast, especially when you're in the southeast. So right now, really looking like we're going to have accumulating snow in the mountains, which we kind of knew from the beginning, from the get-go. But when it comes to Metro Atlanta's snow potential, that's looking less and less likely. But we still could have that rain-snow mix. So, you know, you have some of the rain, but then there's some of the snowflakes, flurries kind of mixed in there. That's that really like slushy kind of snow. So we'll keep an eye out for that. You'll want to tune in tonight. First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin will be here to go through what the models say tonight, and that'll probably be your best idea. So you definitely want to have our app, because we'll be updating that all day. In fact, I'm going to update it as soon as I'm done with this, and you'll get a push notification to your phone. You can scan the little QR code on your screen there in the corner if you don't have it, because you definitely need it. Clark, have a great weekend. Thank you. And so definitely have that app, because we'll be updating that feverishly all day long as we get new information in for you. You definitely want to know what's going to happen as you're headed out the door for Saturday and for Sunday, because we have a rainy day today, and then we'll be watching that winter weather potential tomorrow. But again, that really now, as models are starting to get a better handle on the setup, how cold the air is going to be, a lot of things have to come perfectly together to have snow, especially here in Atlanta. So unfortunately, looking less and less likely that we're going to see that. Still possible. We'll give it the possibility. We'll hold on to hope for all of you who want to see that, because this is a pretty unique setup. But it does look like we're going to have accumulating snow primarily in the higher elevations of the mountains. And we'll keep you posted on air, online, on the First Alert weather app. Great tool to have again. And I hope everyone makes it a wonderful Saturday. Today's a day where you can have the excuse to be lazy, because it's going to just be rainy and dreary, right? So just take it easy today. Give yourself a little bit of a break today, because it's going to be really, really, really nasty out there. But still enjoy your Saturday regardless. Enjoy your whole weekend. We'll catch you back here tomorrow. At least I will catch you back here tomorrow morning. We have Cutter again coming in later tonight for you to keep you posted on the weather. And I hope you make it a wonderful Saturday. We'll catch you here next time.